Hello and welcome to another episode of Guzzoline Garage. Today's is all about the Goodwood Revival. I've just got back from the 2025 event, which I was lucky enough to go to, and it's something I've always wanted to do, so I was very excited about it. So this video is really aimed at just giving you an overview of the event, a little bit of a sort of tour and guide of some of the things we saw and did, and just to give you a flavour of it really. If you're thinking about going yourself and you've never been, there is a lot to do there. It's not just going and watching 20 classic car races. There's lots of different stalls, there's car related things obviously, there's toy cars, models and cars for kids, electric cars, there's auction houses, there's dealers, there's parts, there's carburettor specialists, but there's also things like furniture, plants, garden things, all sorts, a real range and mixed bag, sweet shops, you name it. There's loads of places for food and drink. There's a cinema, and there's a huge focus on fashion as well, particularly vintage fashion. One of the kind of key principles or aims, if you like, of the Goodwood Revival is the sort of reduce, reuse, recycle, make, do and mend, that type of thing. And they're keen on genuine sort of period 40s, 50s, 60s fashion. The event overall is aimed at the golden period of when racing returned to Goodwood post World War II. I think it spans from 1948 to about 1964, something like that is the era that they've defined. And so you'll see a lot of people there dressed up in 40s, 50s and 60s attire. And there's kind of a different area for each different era as well. You know, there's more 40s area with some wartime bits and bobs, Willys Jeeps and American trucks, things like that, Spitfires, Hurricanes, and people in wartime attire. And then there's more of a 50s area, which leans pretty heavily on like American diners and big American cars and chrome and all that sort of stuff, and swing dancing. And then there's more of a 60s area with like hippies and mods and rockers and things like that as well. It's not mandatory to dress up, but you will see a lot of people. I'd say it's probably about 70% people dressed up and about 30% people normal attire. And this time when we went, we were lucky enough to have grandstand tickets as well, which is probably advisable, I'd say. I've only really been into it over the last sort of 4 or 5 years, been looking at it and stuff. But most times there is some rain because it's England and you're towards the end of summer, September, where the weather starts getting a bit chilly. So it did rain quite a bit this year for us, but it was a mixed bag. We did have some bright bits as well. So what I would say is go equipped. We did camping. We did 4 nights. We got there early on the Thursday when everyone was still sort of setting up. The activities across the road opened on the Thursday evening, so you could go for a drink and a walk round. And then Friday was all practicing for the racing and qualifying type stuff. And then Saturday, Sunday was your main racing. We stayed the Sunday night, packed up on the morning, and then drove home. It's about 5 hours away from me, so it's a big old long drive. But yeah, well worth going to see it. Anyway, enough rambling from me. We'll go through the video. I've took a load of mixture of stuff, so I've got some short video clips of different areas and activities and some of the racing, and I've also got a lot of pictures as well, so bear with it. A picture slideshow is just pretty boring, so I'll try and do a bit of voiceover with some of the pictures, describe what I'm trying to show you, and I'll alternate it a bit, pictures and videos, and it should just give you a good flavour overall of it. Let's crack on. We've just turned up on the Thursday afternoon, and we've got the tent set up. You can see I've got this fabulous 1970s retro house tent. It was immediately tested, and you can also see just how muddy the campsite's getting already, and it's not even the start of the event yet. I was also being dive bombed by the display aircraft practicing while I was setting up the tent. So we had some hot dogs for tea and then decided to go for a walk around. As you can see, there was some money kicking around, some real fancy cars and some much better camping setups than what we were in, and there was lots and lots of nice things to look at wherever you went. Several 100,000, £1,000,000 cars kicking around, lots of nice things. I like this big Cadillac that stuck out and was too big to fit in its tent, and yeah, there was Ferraris everywhere. I like the one that was for sale on the Bonhams stand, this 512 Berlinetta, this 512 BB. It had a rubbish bag taped to one of the windows because it had obviously seized down, and it was listed as not having been started even, for £150,000. Here we are then on the 1940s day. I say 1940s day, it wasn't a strict theme or anything, but that's just what we decided to do. So this is the Friday morning now, and we're in 40s dress, and then we're going to do 50s on Saturday and 60s on Sunday. And we wandered from the campsite across the road and straight into the circuit, crossed the circuit, and we were into the sort of paddocks for the Alfa Romeo parades.
California sun, but
yeah, instead we just brought the New York grit and the New York rain. So how you doing?
fine. I'm sorry, it's getting me. I think it's my ribbon flapping in the wind.
Yeah, I think we need a little bit of commotion for the hat, please. Just a little bit of commotion for the hat. She's gorgeous.
I just restored the veil and meticulously put these little chenille dots back on.
Yes.
It's not an easy thing doing since I first started collecting in the early 90s. I was traveling, I was performing. I was booked as a headliner at strip clubs across America.
Like you
So I would get to these cities, like usually driving, check into my motel, and open the Yellow Pages. Those of you that are too young, we used to have the Yellow Pages. And I'd find all the vintage or antique stores, and I would immediately go, especially antique malls. And that's where I got some of my best vintage that I still wear today. Like this gabardine suit, I know I got this in the early 90s. But my method was that, mostly. And now I think
This is the start of the Saturday then. We went for 50s dress, which I've kind of copped out on because I'm just in my overalls. And it was a bit of a damp day, a bit of a rainy start, as you'll see, but it did brighten up.
getting a tail out a little bit more is strengthening the 26R. Trying to drop back slightly in the shape car of the Lotus Elan 26R. As you mentioned, Bruce, that the aerodynamics are the ones that are slightly different between the two of them, but the mechanicals are pretty much the same. But Lynn has jumped up ahead of course, Davison having that spin, and he is really chasing down, and he got a little wiggle going into Madwick.
Yeah, what's really happened with that moment just outside the top handful of cars, and other people sorting themselves out at St Mary's, the first four have got clear. It's Andrew Smith, Martin Stretton, Michael O'Brien, Maxwell Lynn. Then there's a gap of nearly 4 seconds back to Roger Wills. But let's take a look. St Mary's first time out. Where comes the problem? It comes into St Mary's already. You can see people reaction further back. 1, 2, 3 cars going for a spin, and a massive tank stack being saved up at the front. A few people gaining positions behind, but that was a typical reactionary incident there at St Mary's.
It was, and actually, it was a 94 Porsche that had a bit of a wobble. And lost drive.
Actually went remarkably well, but again, it's the ephemeris, it's the outside of the Alfa Romeo story. It's someone using an Alfa Romeo engine, but it's great to have that, to be so completist here at Goodwood.
Absolutely right, yeah, no, so it's gorgeous to see some of these Alfa, as I say, the TZ, it's all one go through with that different bodywork where they have that very low front end, comes off the rear end, we have
It does, doesn't it?
Right, these three have been up right where Cottingham getting the back of the E-Type sliding a little bit more coming through the edge of St Mary's. Tries to so experienced now in this international motor racing is very keen to get ahead of the Cobra. He needs to clear the Cobra, trying to do so down the inside into Woodcut. Can he get it done? He's going to be side by side, but no, the Cobra's just got a little bit of extra drive off Woodcut. Cottingham's going to fall back in line.
Yeah, Matthew Hall held it. I thought he might lose it then, but actually Matthew with the Cobra did manage to hold on to it. Remember, he'll be handing over to Andrew Jordan later on in this race, but it is being led by Richard Kent, who will hand over to Chris Ford, who is also massively rapid as well. So this is going to be a really fascinating race. The E-Type, amazing how sideways, particularly the 66, James Cottingham's car there, is going, but he's managing to hold it. This was an E-Type that raced in California in period, and it's been successful in recent historic events, there's no doubt about it. It's looking competitive again, but can he find a way through?
Spins or something's gone wrong on the exit. The Ford Motor and two cars have gotten together, and Austin Healy you see on the side. And a Jaguar, and there's a rollover from another Austin Healy as it hits the bank at the exit of Ford Motor.
We can see that.
then checked out.
Right.
And that was maybe why he had that poor getaway. So that's something that will be looked at, no doubt, by the stewards.
Yeah, so that was Matt Hole who will be handing over to Andrew Jordan, and he was doing well in the first part, but it has gone a bit wrong. He's dropped down, I think, to fifth position now. We've got this great battle up between the two E-Types up front, Richard Kent and James Cottingham, and they will be handing over to Chris Ward and Ollie Bryant, who are two star drivers here.
I wouldn't want to divide across the two now. He's looking to dive down the inside. And is that whatever the fluid was, it seems to have stopped pouring out of the back of the car. And I'm convinced that third place has set the fastest race time. The 128.56 miles and has seen
that's right, but he's a little way further back, of course, so but Gordon is doing a great job. Looks as though he's going to get the final free spot. There it is, there's the number 4 E-Type, but he's doing, as you say, he's done some very good laps. Although the pass that on quite curious to see what he's done on this team. That was a good lap again. That was the same sort of pace as the two leaders.
Yeah, that's obviously it was a lap that was recorded before the race.
It's very easy to look at now. He's waving. What's happening? He's waving. There's a problem.
I'm not sure whether this is something being made or the rain or something got a problem. All of a sudden, his right hand came out of the window and all of a sudden, this is going to be the final lap pit stop. Pass me. Yeah. I'm in trouble, I can't do any further.
And he's looking down at something in there. I'm not quite sure what he was checking, but there's clearly a problem. And I feel for him. I feel for us. He's all off for a great race on this last lap. But fair play to Andrew Jordan. I mean, he's been doing a fantastic job as ever, former British Touring Car Champion, who then developed the business that they run to restore cars, restore historic cars. They run a lot of historic cars for the
slightly lower. These conditions, which is not the easiest car. So no, Gordon Shep, 2 Jaguars pretty lower and stopping for all in all.
They running out of fuel, they wouldn't be doing that, would they?
Well, we saw that in the Can-Am race. We saw what Paddock pulled over. We think that was a fuel.
But it'll let you use less fuel, unless they were running out. They were running out fuel, weren't they?
Well, there was certainly fluid coming out from the back of the cars. We assumed initially it was fuel. We don't know what it was.
Well, here we go then. The checker flag will be coming out in just a moment as we come over the line. The victory goes to Andrew Jordan.
That Spitfire flypast kicked off the Sunday, and we're in 6D's dress for the day. And we took the same sort of route, just mooched over to the circuit. I was real pleased to see these Austin 7s, and this Aston Martin as well was finally out of its cover. It had been under a cover every time I'd seen it since.
The revs are rising. We are about to go racing once more here at the Goodwood Revival. Storm goes down. We get a storm. Ollie Bright not able to get off the line, but he does do it. Everyone gets around him. The Sussex Trophy is underway. Ollie Bryant, though, with the worst of starts imaginable, but good to see him getting going in that Lotus 15 as they all file for position, coming through Madgwing, and in the lead then as they emerge is the other Lotus 15, Roger Wills, who started in second, leads the Sussex Trophy.
He does, and that's gutting for Ollie Bryant, but he'll be charging through, so we'll keep an eye on that. But a great start by James Wood. He snuck through in the climax 15, but he's going to be under pressure from the number 6, but he's having a sneak up the inside as they go through. You see that dust around the outside goes Chris Ward. Is he going to be able to sneak to the lead? No, he thinks better of it. Tucks in behind in the Lotus, in the Jaguar E-Type. You can just see that dust on the outside. A few drivers kicking it up. So plenty of drivers under pressure, but particularly our race leader at the moment. As back down the inside goes James Wood.
Side by side action though, with a little twitch on board. Chris Ward, Jaguar E-Type long nose cheeks, manages to gather it all up, but he would have lost a bit of ground there. And through comes Christian Albrecht in the scout. That's the blue car, left-hand drive.
Stabilising, but Psycho, big loser, Ferrari, Jaguar dropping 1, 2, 3
Well, that pretty much wraps it up. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, well done. I know I've focused quite heavily on the racing there, which wasn't really my intention going into the event. I wanted to capture a bit more of the other stuff and the side attractions and what have you, because there is really so much to do and see there. But I don't know if it's a confidence thing. I'm still not great at filming or talking in public much. I'm all right here in my safe little cave, but for whatever reason, didn't really film much else. So hopefully that gives you an overall view of what it was like. There was one last race on the Sunday that we didn't see, on video that is. We sat and watched it and I was either a bit too drunk or a bit too enthralled by the racing, probably both, to actually film that properly. But that was the second round of the St Mary's Trophy and it was ace. Really good, really close competitive racing. And we were really sad to leave. So we trudged back to the campsite. It'd been a bit rainy there towards the end of the day, as you can sort of see on some of them last bits of footage. And there was a few people stuck and bogged down. I actually pulled one guy out who was in a big GMC motorhome thing with like a dual axle on the rear and stuff, using my Audi, which I was quite pleased about. I was surprised it managed. But then it was a bit of a windy night, about 3 in the morning. Part of the tent blew in on itself, the cooking area, and knocked all the stove and things over, caused a big clattering bang. And then we had to disassemble it in, I think it was 35 or 45 mile an hour gusts on the Monday morning. So that was interesting, bit of team building to disassemble the tent and not have it blow us away with it. Then it was a 5-hour drive home, and yeah, real sad to leave. Really glad I went, really glad I did it. It was very expensive. I probably won't be in a rush to go and do it again for that reason, but I could see myself going back in a few years' time, definitely. Really enjoyable and would highly recommend it. Thanks very much for watching. I'll end the video here. Catch you in the next one. Bye bye.